For the audience of 60 to 85-year-olds, men and women, we can see the conversations. They're like, thank you so much. Have a great day. Like, they know they're talking to an AI assistant and they're still wishing them a good greeting because the conversation was so personalized, so relevant, and they got their information faster than if they were trying to Google it.
Welcome to Digital Dominance. I went from building HTML websites in high school to helping 7- and 8-figure service businesses generate more revenue through better design, SEO, and marketing. On this podcast, I bring you expert tactics and tools to help you turn your online presence into your biggest sales asset. If you want someone on your team to help you navigate the world of digital marketing, head over to FroBro.com. What if your marketing wasn't just clever, but actually disruptive? In this episode of Digital Dominance, we're diving into the intersection of AI, creativity, and interruption marketing with someone who knows how to make noise and get results. Lauren Petrullo, founder of Mongoose Media. Now, Lauren's agency has helped brands like Disney and Meta turn bold marketing into bottom line growth. But what's even more exciting is how she's using AI not just for automation, but to spark genuine creativity, customer intimacy, and conversion. From chatbots that actually sell to unconventional content strategies that punch through the scroll, Lauren shares what's working right now and what's coming next. So if you're a service business looking to future-proof your marketing and move fast without losing your brand voice, this episode is going to be for you. So thanks for joining me today, Lauren.
Oh my gosh, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. Now, right off the bat, we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about interruption marketing. You've said it's not about being loud, but about being impossible to ignore. So can you explain how you help brands stand out without turning people off?
Well, the good point of like how brands can stand out without turning people off in a way is like once you know and understand your brand values and brand core promises so that you can make sure that you can tap into your right audience, because there's always going to be people out there that are not interested in what you have to hear or say or sell, right? So ways that you can interrupt without like dismembering everyone that you want to connect with is leveraging the latest technology, having creative that fits in by standing out, and then using even sometimes multilingual language campaigns that will let you connect with audiences that are desperate to be marketed to and are tired of it only being in English and then being just another person to see the ad. So it's like personalization and relevance to the extreme without burdening your operations.
Right. And I want to poke in there a little bit because standing out without annoying people, so many people go to like the hooks, right? And the memes and the latest trends and try to think that's going to be enough. But when you say different, it could just be different. It doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing or working. It could be standing sideways. I don't know. But tell us more about that.
Yeah. So like a lot of people will jump on trends and it might be like, oh, you need to green screen this article, or you need to do like a fake podcast, or a lot of like really heavy costs on the video production side, right? It's like, oh, I need to be the next TikTok viral meme, when the reality is foundationally is what people are looking for. They're even oversaturated market, inundated with so much information where they want you to cut through the noise and just tell me directly. Like we've never had a time where people want more direct information and want more value up front. We have consumers that are learning more about your business than the employees applying to you. Like they want to know and absorb everything you have to say. And because they are absorbing everything you have to say, if you do any type of like fluffy stuff, you will destroy your attention. But if you're able to go direct with your brand promise, leading with trust and credibility, you're going to be able to stand out because everyone else has to fake it.
All right. So, but if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, that's great if you already have an audience, you don't want to mess it up by doing fluffy stuff. But if you don't have an audience yet, there's kind of this compulsion to do something to get noticed. So how would you help with that situation?
So when you don't have an audience and you want to penetrate the existing market so that you can stand out not as crappy and sloppy as some of the other competitors that might be out there who are just trying to do the cheap, junky stuff, you should always lean in with what you're the best at. What is something that you can do that none of your competitors are going to keep up with, right? Are you someone that every time you make a promise and you're going to do an emergency over the weekend job and you show up on time at a fair price? If that is whatever your promise is, you need to double, if not quadruple down on that, because your audience is going to naturally find you when you're consistent in your promise and you deliver on that. And things that you can do to start getting that message in front of your audiences when you're doing at-home jobs. If you're able to ask like, hey, would you be willing to do like a 30-second interview with me, or like, can I ask you 30 seconds if you'd be willing to share your feedback on today's event? And maybe depending on if you have a recurring service, you can't incentivize reviews because it's an FTC regulation, but you can have something where you can work and say like, this would mean a lot for my small business. You're interacting with these people. A lot of times you're going into their homes. That's their safest space to be. And if you're able to just connect with that individual and ask for 30 seconds, it would be massive help to my small business. Either leaving a review. You can't say which review. Like, of course, I would love a 5-star review. Like, you should give Jeffro on his podcast. You can't incentivize the quality of the review, but it's like, this goes a long way for my small business. I'm authentic. I'm a human. They will almost always connect with you because they're so used to AI and fakeness. Like, it's easy to make a fake testimonial. It's easy to use AI to put up an avatar that's saying, oh my God, I love this business. And when I say it's easy, like maybe it's like you're not technologically there to do it, but you can hire someone to make those for you, but it's going to be inauthentic and it's going to show up long term in a way that will cripple their business. You don't want to go after the immediate win to sacrifice the long term, right? It's like you want to win the war, not the battle. And some of the best things I've seen for service providers is if you are inside someone's home and you can ask them like 5 really simple questions of what would you say to someone? The most important one is what would you say to someone who is considering engaging our company, but isn't quite sure yet? If you can get them to do that one answer and you can combine 4 or 5 of them, no viral video that's using some cheap hack will win long run against that.
Yeah. And I definitely want to emphasize the long run perspective, because if you are just looking at the short term and you're like, oh, well, I tried these, little hooks or whatever, and it didn't work. I've been posting videos for 2 weeks. How come I don't have new customers yet? Like, come on, you got to do more volume than that. And I love how Alex Hormozy talks about this. Like, if you're new or you're just starting out, like, do his rule of 100, right? 100 outreaches per day for 100 days, whatever it is, or run $100 in ads a day. But you got to do it for the full 100 days. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Because at the end of that, you can look back and say, okay, what are the things that work for that? But if you just try a few things and never actually stay consistent, you're not going to figure out what's working and actually get better.
I would say further on that too is like, yes, there is like the consistency and yes, there's the qualified investment. If you're doing it towards the ads, like specifically if you're like, I'm spending $100 a day and you do it for 2 weeks, I'm just going to go over like a really basic rule that everyone needs to know. If you're running assumably ads on Facebook, if you are not getting 50 conversion events, whatever your result is per ad set, that's audience in a 7-day period, you will never leave the learning phase. So that's just like, I hate to say it and it sounds obnoxious and unfair, and it is, because if you're spending less than $200,000 a month with Meta, you're small fries to them. $200,000 a month in ads might be your entire annual revenue. That's a lot of money, but to Meta, it's irrelevant. So if you're spending $100 a day and say you've created 5 different audiences, you're like, I'm going to do men, I'm going to do women, I'm going to do an older audience, and then I'm going to do this county and this city. Don't consolidate your ad sets. You just need to have a consolidated, simple campaign, and you need to make sure that you're getting 50 results for whatever you're asking. So if you're asking for website schedules and you're not getting 50, you need to get at least 25. And if you can't get at least 25, you need to either increase your budget or reset your expectations, because your budget will be the biggest hindrance to it. And if you can't hit that 50 mark at minimum 25, it's not going to get you to the space you need to do where you might put that money more invested into a different channel.
Right. And there's other places you can look at that point, right? Like, okay, was it the creative? Was it the offer? So many variables. But yeah, I like just focusing on one audience instead of just spraying and praying. Yeah.
We know that like if you're in the lawn service business, like you target, if you have like those bugs that the termites, the ones that are like inside, like you have to strategically place those like mothers. We had a tent our building and it was awful. So, but our team was like, yeah, the previous pest suppliers had not placed them close enough to the building, so it was useless.
Well, let's get into AI. So everyone's using it for automation now, but you've talked about using AI to enhance creativity. So what are some overlooked ways that AI can actually make our marketing better, not just faster?
So I think when I'm talking about like how AI can make your marketing better is like assuming you're using like a Claude or a ChatGPT or some sort of solution where you're talking back or typing to an AI and you're saying, hey, I want a campaign. I want help to eliminate termites in the spring season, or I want a campaign to help like introduce a new power washing business in this zip code. You can use it as a great creative brainstormer. They're just, I think the most overlooked things is people forget to give the parameters to the conversation of who you want AI to be. So if it's not said, like, I want you to think about this as like Lauren Petrullo from Mongoose Media, like what creative strategy would she have? Or like if create a campaign as if David Ogilvy was reviewing this. If you don't give specific parameters, or even like Alex Hermosi all day, help me build an offer and campaign that Alex Hermosi will be proud of. If you neglect that parameter, it's going to give you an output that's similar to if you just go up to a random stranger on the street. So that is, I think, one of the most overlooked things that leads to people getting frustrated and not getting quality out of their AI solutions or like AI campaigns that they're building. And then the second thing is people ask for a solution right away with AI versus stopping AI and saying, okay, here's everything I've given you. Now I want this result in an Alex Hermosi level pitch that he would be proud of. But before you give me any answers, I need you to stop and ask me at least 3 questions to make sure you have enough information. Because most of the time when we ask AI for help, we're not giving them the full context, the full story. And I do it. I did it too. This was the biggest impact I saw, the small micro change of saying, okay, before you give me an answer, ask me at least 3 questions. And I like to say, ask them to me one at a time so that you can give me an answer that actually makes sense. But don't you dare give me anything until you know without an iota of confusion what I'm asking you to do. And then you'll start to see quality stuff to which is like, okay, now great. Can you give me a creative for that? So you'll get copy, you'll get campaign offer, you'll get creative, like they'll give you the ad, they'll give you everything you need to do to be successful, but it starts with that foundational input.
Right. And that's something you won't know if you're brand new necessarily. Like you have to kind of get good at something and before you can use AI to help get a better result. Otherwise you're going to get generic stuff because AI, like it's trained on the internet, everybody's stuff. It's not picking and choosing like I'm only going to learn on the best websites or the best results. Like it's got everybody's blogs. And so if you just ask it some generic, you're going to get the most likely, which is the most generic response. And so, to your point, you got to guide it a little bit to help draw out what you actually need.
AI is like, help me help you. And the best way you can do it is say, before you give me any answer, make sure you ask me at least 3 questions to clarify that you have all the context you need. It took me a year for me to discover this. And it was like the most game-changing component because I was like, AI, give me this. And they're like, here. And it was like as if I asked a stranger and it was inconsistently garbage. And then I'm like, ask me as if you were Alex Hermosi and make sure you ask or give me a delivery as if you were Alex Hermosi and make sure you ask me the most important questions so that you can give me the best deliverable possible.
Right. It's not a like, I'm trying to think of the type of machine I'm thinking of. Like, it's not like put X in, get Y out. It's an assistant.
Not an ATM.
It's a helper, right? Like by default, like you said, it's very sycophantic and very like, here you go. I gave you the thing you wanted, right? And it's so quick. It doesn't know what you want. So you have to tell it what you want and then it will give you that. Right.
If I can give another analogy, Jeffro, it's like I found that when someone new starts at your company, we've all had interns or we've all hired like our brother's cousin or our best friend's youngest son. Like we've all done that, right? And they come in and they really don't have any experience. And one of the like early tests you can see, do they have the attitude? Because you can train on aptitude, is like you ask them to take your coffee order, right? You're like, hey, can you go get coffee for the office? Can you go get me coffee? And one of 2 things will happen. They'll either go get you coffee and come back and it's going to be Dunkin' Donuts and you wanted Starbucks. It's going to have whole milk, but you're allergic and you wanted only soy milk. It's going to be like a single espresso versus a double, right? You're going to get the wrong order because they didn't ask. Or you're going to have someone that's like, awesome. Do you want cream and sugar? What size do you want? Where do you want me to get that coffee? Those type of questions that a new employee asks for a simple task like go get me coffee is something that a lot of our brick and mortar businesses and service-based business did for decades before AI. And so when AI comes in, we leave all that at the door. We're like, okay, cool. They already know my coffee order, obviously. So I don't need to ask them or train them on that basic level of a task. But if you don't do that, you are going to get black coffee from the wrong place in a size that's not what you actually wanted with and they won't even give you the receipt. Like imagine like, well, where's the receipt? I have to do it's a business expense. That's something that like interns and new employees generally learn. So AI is in that same function.
Yeah. And I know we're focusing on this a lot, and we've done multiple episodes on AI too, guys, but like this isn't going away. It's just going to get more and more entrenched in our lives. And so the sooner you embrace that and become a person who's using AI rather than someone who's avoiding it, then you're going to be able to increase your output and the quality of your output in lesser time. Like that's what it's there for. It's not meant to like replace your thinking. You still have to do the thinking, but it can help you iterate much faster and come up with better solutions if you use it properly.
Personally, we've hired more people since we've started using AI. It has been amplifier for our business. And I like to describe it like AI is like a calculator. I don't want to do long division by hand. I graduated 6th grade, not interested in doing that anymore. I have a calculator on my phone. And I think the piece definitely you're talking about is like, it's not going away. It's something that's going to be more embedded in our society. I think of it as like kids grow up with cell phones. A lot of you listening didn't grow up with a cell phone, but you've given your kid a cell phone. When the iPhone, the BlackBerry all came out, we saw this huge adaptation where people have more computing power in their hand than what took us to the moon. So it's going to become something where it's like everyone has a cell phone. Everyone is going to be involved in leveraging AI. AI has been around for decades. It's just now it's more accessible than before and it's becoming more pervasive. So there's lots of stuff like it's for sure not going away, but it's also not in a place where it's going to like become the Matrix or the Terminator kind of situation. But if you like doing long math with a pencil and an eraser, you know what? Keep doing you, baby boo. But if you'd rather do stuff with your math with a calculator, count me in. That's how I think AI should be revered.
Okay, so that's typically how I think about it too. But there are other ways to use AI. So for example, chat assistants. What's your take on an AI-powered chat assistant for a service business just on their website?
Yeah, well, for on their website, and I'm going to say specifically inside of their socials, like your Meta, your Facebook and Instagram. I think it's the most powerful thing that you can do using AI at a bare minimum investment. Because when people go on social media, their comments are because their likelihood of going to a conversion. Social media is social, so they're having a conversation with your brand. You don't have the time to be 24/7 on Instagram. You're 24/7 on the job. And you can have an AI to have a personalized, relevant conversation that can then signal to them, hey, if you'd like to call us, here you go. If you want to know what our prices start at, here you go. If you want to know, like, you get a free inspection, this is what it replies. Can I book you in? Like, you can have an AI assistant on your social media and your website book appointments for you, qualify leads that come in, capture their information so you can connect with them further, and talk to them when they're ready to have a conversation versus starting a conversation, waiting for you to get back to them. Maybe they found someone else first to help you. And it's kind of like this, forgive my language, but it's like a blue ballsing type of effect for a conversation. People come ready and interested. It's like if you're, someone like me who likes to wear a lot of clothes or try on clothes all the time, right? As soon as I walk into a store, the likelihood of me buying something is immense, right? I physically entered the store in the mall. That's what it means when someone's on your website and starts to chat with your chatbot, whether it's a chatbot or a live interaction. I physically walked into the store. And then when you start having a dialogue and someone replies back, that's the person trying on the clothes. The only reason I'm not buying the clothes is if there is sticker shock or it doesn't fit. So if you're missing out on that dialogue piece, you're going to miss out on the opportunity of that conversion more often than not. So having an AI assistant chatbot means you're going to have someone that doesn't take off for the holidays, someone that doesn't oversleep on the weekends, someone that never gets sick, and someone that knows your brand voice consistently. I'm sure we've all experienced someone that was great at customer service and they either retired or changed jobs or for whatever reason are no longer with your company. You don't have to worry about that with AI because they're trained once and they don't sleep.
Yeah. And I think, with the chat assistants on the website, we've had a version of that for a long time, but a lot of those were just like kind of like the phone tree, right? It goes through some options. And that's really frustrating because you're like, no, the only reason I'm chatting here is because I don't fit into those boxes. Like I need help with a specific thing. But the AI assistant can actually understand the request and get you where you need to go much quicker. whether that's a human or, a support page or whatever it is. But yeah, that saves a lot of frustration.
Yeah. And that, so when those are built in what I call the Fred Flintstone era of chatbots, where it's like, if this, then that. So if you're looking for help for your cat, then this is your only answer. But if you have a turtle, sorry, it's like, I can't compute. That's what I think of like driving a car Fred Flintstone style. And I paid for a pedicure, so I'm not trying to ruin my toes. But the way I like to do it is like an AI assistant, an AI chatbot can work really well as long as they follow like the 5 steps or whatever. And like the first one is like, you need someone to be acknowledged right away. We all want to be treated and respected as an individual, not talked to as if we're everybody. Because when you're talking to me as if I'm everyone, none of us are going to listen to you. So personalized, hey, Lauren, how's your day going? Right? Like those small things. I remember when I would go to like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster and have a conversation with the people and get their recommendations. So you always have to acknowledge them right away in a personalized manner. Then you have to start lead qualifying them. What are they looking for? They might be on your website because they're a competitor. They're looking for a job. They already had a job done that they have questions for. They want to rebuy from you, or they're new to your brand. Those are 6 very different types of conversations you need to have. So you want your AI chatbot to always filter that conversation into who are you and what am I supposed to start this conversation about? Because if you're someone who's looking for a job and I keep asking you like, where do you live? Where do you live? I can have a plumber at your house in 5 seconds. Like, oh my gosh, you would hate that. Then after you've acknowledged them, you've filtered which direction the conversation should go, then you have the ability to capture their lead information. You want them to not stay inside the conversation. Hey, what's your phone number? What's your email? What are the contacts so that you own that data and can follow up in the future? Then after they've given you that lead information, then you can start pushing to, here's the best solution for you. Now that I've got your information, here's how we can set you up with a free in-home design. Here's how we can review if your current thermostat is actually working or not. And then you can follow up. What AI assistants can do is it has memory of your conversations for up to 30 days. So imagine someone comes back in a store, or if you have an office, they remember the office attendant person, but maybe the office attendant doesn't remember them because they see 600 people come in and out of that door a day. AI doesn't forget. So they can pick up the conversation where it left off or nudge them back to finish the conversation if there's an open loop.
Yeah. And this all is a good reminder that yes, some platforms will give you like, oh, free chat. This isn't going to be what we're talking about because you're going to have to invest some upfront time to get this configured and trained on your business and the way you want to do things. Otherwise, it's going to be that same generic stuff, just in a new package. So either pay somebody to come in and help you set it up or spend the time to figure out how to do it properly, because it's night and day, the difference that you're going to see. Especially
in the number of booked appointments you're going to have and the feeling fine, shameless plug, yes, we do it all day long, but there's a lot of other solutions on there too. But we had a brick and mortar store, they provided Kegel chairs, if you will. And their audience was largely 60 to 85 year olds. And they are people that want to talk. They want to tell some stories. And their customer service team was like, oh my God, I'm on the phone for 25 minutes. She's telling me all about Bridgerton episodes. And it's like, I don't have time for this, but your AI assistant does. And it's like, hey, let me drive you back into the conversation we want to have. And for the audience of 60 to 85 year olds, men and women, we can see the conversations. They're like, thank you so much. Have a great day. They know they're talking to an AI assistant and they're still wishing them a good greeting because the conversation was so personalized, so relevant, and they got their information faster than if they were trying to Google it. Your AI assistant, when trained correctly and in on your brand voice, can become the most powerful direct Google answer. Remember we talked at the beginning of the episode of how the way you can win, the way you can stand out right now is by being direct and cutting out that nonsense, flashy, shiny object, let me try to trick you kind of solutions. People want to get the answers as fast as they can because they want to learn more about your solution, not learn more about how to figure out if your solution's a good fit or not. Your AI chatbot can do it.
Right. And I think this is a good time for us to kind of move into lifecycle strategy. But can you walk us through what that looks like in practice for a business that doesn't have a full-blown marketing department and how it kind of ties these different pieces together?
So I think it goes back to always, no matter where they're coming from, however someone is connecting with you, whether it's a contact form on the website, whether it's a chatbot form, whether it's a social media inquiry or a phone call, you always want to always greet someone and acknowledge them because they went out of their comfort zone to talk to you. And then 2, understand what they're looking for. So that's where you're filtering them in any capacity. And when you understand what they're looking for and have acknowledged who they are, you have what I call like a placeholder information. I don't care if you're using a Google Sheet or a whiteboard. You have to document this stuff. And what you can then do is once you're like, cool, Lauren, you're looking for like an at-home chef service, for example. And you're like, okay. And you're looking for someone that's going to come in and provide 3 meals a week for you and your aging mother that meets her dietary needs. I understand that. Now, can I capture your information? If you don't capture their information, that conversation will just blow off into the wind. And you are reliant on them being lazy or undermarketed to stick with you. Because it's easier for them to find someone else who's going to follow up with the conversation. But when you can capture their information, you've validated who they are, you've verified what their needs are, and you've documented their best contact information, then you can start delivering the most immediate information. And why the documentation matters is for that life cycle is you might have an email that goes out once a month where you're like, hey, we just want to celebrate. We painted 17 homes this month alone. And that's allowed us to feed 6 full families. Or like, hey, this month we connected as a team and we did a match giving donation day. We did a like run for those that are like unhoused and like need basic supplies. And as a team, we raised 10,000. You get to continue to connect with your customers so that you stay top of mind. And where this type of stuff can come in is you can, at an ninja level, or you can hire someone off of like an Upwork or a Fiverr. Like I bet you could get this done for under $100. If you can have like an email system and you can create an email once a month written with AI that just sits in a template so that you can connect with your audience and stay relevant on autopilot. And every time they connect with you, if you're using a central system like a CRM, customer relationship manager, or an ESP, email service provider that holds the glue of all that information, you can have AI update their profile so you know who to call and who to work. If you're trying to get your first 100 clients, you'll have like a priority list of who to contact because they're most engaged with your brand.
That makes sense. Now, when you're working with a company and you're looking at this customer life cycle, is there a consistent, mistakes that come up over and over again that you see people getting wrong?
I think where people neglect it the most is like, I put people into 3 buckets. They subscribed to you, but never gave you $1. They bought from you once, but never repurchased, or they've bought from you more than once. So they're evangelists. I think people focus on the people that have never given you money too much. And they neglect the people that gave you money once, but didn't commit to giving you money again. I think that's where the gold is. You need to have like strong, and like automations can give you super simple follow-ups. If you came in to do an HVAC unit and you came in July and you're in Florida, every summer it's too hot for you to get on top of their roofs. You're inundated because everyone's overwhelmed, where you can set up a reminder in like April or May. Hey, would you like us to check your thermostat again just to make sure your AC unit is set for this summer? Having those type of people to reconnect with people who bought from you once, I think that's the most neglected aspect of people's sales and marketing right now, where there's money they don't have to reinvest to get in front of people that already gave them money. And then it gives you the opportunity because they might not have bought from you again because you provided bad customer service, or they might not buy from you again because they don't need you again. But I bet you they have a referral network that they can connect with. So it's tapping into that market so that you can get more from less.
Yeah. And you'll learn a lot in that process, whether they buy from you or not, right? And give you those other insights that you might not have other had if you hadn't done the follow-up or trying to reach out again.
People are happy to tell you why they're not going to give you money again if they were upset. And just listening to people vent, that's what Facebook is for. You can see like, oh my gosh, people let you know. But you want them to let you know so that you can improve. And it takes a lot from ego, but a lot of us who have like home service businesses, we've cut our teeth on this, right? We know that we'll mess up sometimes. We try not to, but we will overcome it when we can. There's going to be those people that buy from you, those customers that you're like, I wish I never took the job. Okay. Those should be the exception, not the rule. But you want to connect with them, and it's better to know why it didn't work out so that you can improve moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for going through all of that. This has been a great conversation, Lauren. I appreciate your insights, your energy. I think there's a lot here that people can take away from this. So if you guys are listening and you're curious what it looks like to blend this creative marketing with cutting edge AI, definitely check out what Lauren's doing at Mongoose Media. Let's wrap up with one final question to leave our audience with something practical. If someone listening is feeling overwhelmed by all the AI noise, what's one small, smart thing they could do this week to get started?
Okay, it's going to be a tool that I'm going to recommend. It's called Opus Clip, or like opuspro.clip. If you have a service and you're like, where do I get started? Prop up your phone, get a tripod, get someone to hold the phone, and just record 10 to 14 minutes of video that you wish every single person who was interested in hiring you or interested in learning about your business saw. Record 14 minutes like this. If you watch this one video, you can go to mongoose.media or mongoose.media.us and you can see like we have a welcome video. I'm not saying it's the best, but I'm saying it's helped so many conversations. But create a quick video that says like, awesome, I'm glad you're here. This is what you need to know. Like, welcome to this ecosystem. This is what you need to know. Record that video. And then, I'm going to make it too, Jeffro. You record that 10 to 14 minute video, everything that they need to know before they decide whether or not to hire you, because people are obsessed with that long form content. They want it. Then what I'm going to ask you to do is go to a tool called Descript, DESCRIPT.com. They have an AI tool where you can upload the video, you see the words, I say, or I want to record it, just shoot it one long video, and you can use AI to delete or replace words. If you said the word, oh yeah, check out window treatments, you can delete all that and live edit. That's AI in the best format. So you can have a video done that you shoot. Maybe it takes you 20 minutes, but all you have to do is delete or rewrite the word that you meant to say that you didn't. That's like the best place to start. And then if you want to go to a level 2, I would take your finished video because you just hit enter, save. Boom, you've got your edited video without your without your mistakes or bloopers. And then I would upload it to a tool called Opus Pro Clip or Opus Clip Pro. And then it's going to give you like short versions, like 5 or 6 versions. So you have micro pieces of content. And now you've got more video assets after 30 minutes of filming and maybe 20 minutes of editing than you would have had in the last 3 months.
Yeah. Descript is a great tool. And Opus, like these tools are here, guys, to make sure you get rid of your excuses that are like, well, then I'm going to have to get this fancy video camera and you have to buy an editor. Like, no, you can do it yourself. Like she said, in half an hour, and then you've got something to post. So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And it's the video of like, if everyone who ever called you just saw this one video first and it answers all of your questions, life will be so grand. You're like, I don't work in homes that don't have outside access to the roof, or like you don't work in buildings with elevators. I don't know, whatever it is. You don't work in haunted houses. Doesn't matter. Give it to people first, and they're going to get to know who you are and what you're about.
All right. Well, I love that practical advice, guys. Hope you're taking notes. If you haven't started yet, now you have no excuse. So thanks again, Lauren. Thank you all for tuning in. If this episode gave you something to think about, consider leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so we can keep bringing you conversations like this one. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to Digital Dominance. If you enjoyed this episode, would you do me a big favor and leave a review? It really helps more service business owners discover the show, fix their websites, and grow their businesses the right way.